Bună ziua, bine v-am găsit. Numele meu este Iulian și astăzi am să moderez un eveniment pe care noi îl pregătim de ceva timp. Dar până să încep să moderez acest eveniment, aș vrea să vă întreb, v-ați așezat confortabil, totul este în regulă? Da? Suntem în zona noastră de confort, ușor, relaxat, bun. Acum o să am nevoie de un ajutor de la sunet. To prove a point.
Turn my fucking beat up. Turn my fucking beat up. Turn my fucking beat up.
Puțin mai tare, m-ar ajuta, și mai mult.
Yeah, we can do anything. Walk into anywhere and buy anything. I be chillin', I ain't worried about anything. Why stop now? I can have everything. Yeah, yeah, I can have everything. Yeah, yeah, I can have everything. Yeah, yeah, I can have everything. Why stop now? I can have everything.
Every single time I get up in the building and I touch it and I get it poppin', you can never stop it. And I love it, got 'em muggin' and they wondering how my nigga does it when I black it every hood and every street and then I flood it. Making every DJ wanna bring it back and then they run it, making other niggas stoppin', ain't no food up in the cover. See the way I got 'em skidding, now I got a nigga running from the way that I be getting on the beat and I be damning, I be damning. Shit, I wanna see y'all do that on YouTube.
Deci, cine reușește să-mi spună ce tocmai Busta Rhymes a spus în scurtul episod, scurta intervenție? O mână ridicată? Nu. Ideea este în felul următor. Busta este pe locul 1 și 2 în diferite topuri, depinde cum privim topul făcut. Și Busta este după stil, este un rapper, un rapperaș, intră în partea de hip-hop. Bun. Ce face Busta? Are un debit de peste 800 de silabe pe minut. Da? Și transmite niște informații. Informațiile respective provin din, dacă stăm să mergem în cultura hip-hop, rap, vine din nevoia străzii de a vorbi oamenilor despre ce se întâmplă în zona respectivă. Eu vin acum puțin către Lightning Talks. Și Lightning Talks pentru că în aceste 5 minute pe care colegii pe care i-am alături de mine, elevi de liceu, cele 5 minute pe care ei le vor avea la dispoziție, vor transmite ceea ce se întâmplă în lumea lor, pentru ca noi să putem să-i ascultăm, să-i auzim și dacă în această sală există posibilitatea, e destul volum. Colegul meu, Robi, mă ajută. Se înțelege până și la etaj? Perfect. Bun. Deci, prin această metodă de a exprima ce se întâmplă în viața lor, noi putem lua anumite decizii, noi putem ajuta, putem sprijini și putem crea noi oportunități pentru ei. Da? Și tocmai acest slot se numește Lightning Talks, elevii contribuie la salvarea sistemului de învățământ. Și acum aș vrea să dau cuvântul primei participante, Olivia Bettina Pădurean, și dumneavoastră este elevă la Colegiul Național Samuel von Bruckenthal. Am fost corectat, astăzi am învățat ceva, tindeam să spun von. Bun. De la Samuel von Bruckenthal, Sibiu. Ok. Cinci minute.
Hello, my name is Pădurean Olivia Bettina. I'm a student at Samuel von Bruckenthal National College from Sibiu, and I'm here today to tell you my story. Everyone knows that a human life is short, and everyone knows what is better for herself or himself, but there are some choices which change your life forever. And this is my case too, and I'm glad that I'm here because I can tell you my story. As a child, I was shy. I could not speak with other children or in front of the class because I had a fear that I was going to tell something wrong or that the people would laugh at me. It felt I would be like that forever. And there are lots of children or even adults who experience the same anxiety. It is the worst feeling ever. You have so many things to say, but you are afraid. Everything went like that for some years, but then one day I started working in a volunteering program. And that was the point which changed so many things. I started with small activities, the social ones. I saw so many people who were suffering, and it broke my heart. There were lots of children who lived in houses built from mud or even cardboard. And they wanted to go to school and to learn, but they knew they weren't like others. One of the children came and told me that he wanted to go to school, but the teachers were laughing at him. So he didn't want to go to school anymore. I realized then that if I could help him, I could help myself. I remember that day very clearly. The boy was standing right in front of me. He was a nice boy, a very nice one. His face expressed sadness because he wanted to go to school so that his children would have more possibilities. I did it finally, and when he went to the school, I observed his beautiful, strong green eyes and how powerful he has become. In the same day, one of my teachers asked me, why do I want to work in so many volunteering programs? Because they are just a waste of time and they do not help us in any way. I was shocked. How could she say that? I know how important they were for me because they helped me to transform myself. So I wanted to show her how important they are in a student's life. And then I started more activities. So then I volunteered at a big festival in our country. Maybe you heard from it. FITS, International Festival of Theatre, where I was a VIP assistant, a position which not everyone could have it. And I met so many important people who changed my point of view. In the same year, I was nominated at the Best Volunteer Gala, a big event in our city. I even acted in different plays at the theater, Gong Theater, in our city, and there I learned so many things and how to speak with audience, and yeah, it was a very nice experience. I even went in Germany. Yeah, we have here photos from my activities. I even went in Germany to see how their educational system works. Yes, it is true. We do not have what they have, I mean, technology, resources, but I think we can improve if we want to. After all this successful year, one of this teacher came and she apologized. I remember she said, "You were right, Olivia. Thank you for this lesson." Then I realized how many things I accomplished by the age of 16. And I was so proud of myself, and I felt extraordinary. For many parents and teachers, the grade 10 is the success. Yes, is the success. But this grade does not always help us. For being sociable and for being brave, the students do not receive any marks or grades. These volunteering programs help me to transform myself in the person I always wanted to be. Look at myself now speaking in front of you without fear or without fear that I'm going to tell something wrong. So you should tell me, were all these years as being a volunteer worth it? And in the same time, think about yourself and maybe think about how many students you helped to transform themselves in the person they wanted to be. Thank you for your attention.
Perfect. Aceasta a fost prima surpriză pentru dumneavoastră. Elevii, nu numai că își vor împărți experiența cu dumneavoastră, ci o vor susține și în limba engleză. Aș vrea, vă rog frumos, să vă gândiți la ceea ce s-a prezentat în aceste 5 minute, să lăsați informația să se sedimenteze, să asimilăm ușor, ușor cuvintele pe care le-am ascultat. De ce? Pentru că la finalul tuturor prezentărilor aveți un chestionar pe lângă dumneavoastră sau pe scaunul dumneavoastră și acolo, în acel chestionar, va trebui să votați o singură prezentare care v-a impresionat cel mai mult. Și criteriile sunt legate de conținut, coerență și impresie generală. Încă o dată, să ne gândim la ceea ce s-a prezentat, să asimilăm și, ușor, ușor, să facem loc următorului concurent, și anume Darius Ștefan, elev la Colegiul Național Bănățean din Timișoara.
Hello, my name is Darius Câmpian. I live in Timișoara and I'm 17 years old. I'm an 11th grade student in Natural Sciences at Bănățean National College. From the 9th grade, I started to participate in volunteer activities. That has changed my perspective on life. It transformed me from being selfish and caring only for myself into helping others. This is how I got to genuinely care for other people. Firstly, I would like to tell you a little bit about my life before I started volunteering. A few years ago, I was focused only on one thing, getting good grades. Then, at one point in my life, I realized that not everything was about grades. In life, it does not matter if you have 10 in Romanian language or 10 in mathematics. I discovered that the important thing that matters is how I'm as a person. It all happened when I started helping others. First, I started volunteering at my high school students' council. The Students' Council is a community of high school students in Romania that organizes activities for its peers. In our high school, there are about 20 people who are part of this council. Now, most of them are my friends, and we organize activities for our high school together. Last year, we organized charity shows as well as fundraisers for our school. One of the charity shows was attended by 200 people, each paying 5 lei entrance fee to buy Christmas gifts for poor children from Timișoara. In return for the entrance fee, spectators watched a show prepared by the students from our school who presented their talents. We collected more money than the prices of the gifts, and we managed to organize our stand at the high school fair. The high school fair is a different kind of fair. Think about your city Christmas fair packed in one basketball field with lots of Santas. Generally, at this fair, the 8th grade students and their parents can understand more about the educational offers of all the participating high schools. Last year, for our high school stand, we made some leaflets on which wrote a few words about our high school and some bracelets. Also, each student from the council had to answer the questions of the 8th graders while promoting the school. This experience changed me enormously because I saw that you can do many things other than chasing grades, life-changing things. Here I learned to better communicate with others. In the past, I was very shy and I could not make many friends, and I fear public speaking. But through my activities as part of this council, I managed to overcome these fears. The change took place because I had to communicate with both the students and the teachers, and that helped me a lot. The children from these councils are extraordinary children, very eager to learn new things, and seeing those enthusiastic, I started to change myself, to be more open, and to understand that in life, not the grades are the ones that matters, but the experiences you have and the people you help. This council is not important only because it organizes shows and deals with high school fairs. It is also important because it helps the students to have a say in case of an abuse or in case they don't like something regarding the school rules. In my 2 years being part of this community, I have been trying to persuade as many students as possible to join it. because I believe it can help change your thinking, and not only. Most importantly, you can make new friends and you can learn to communicate better. Also, you can get over your fear of speaking in public or with other students. I have talked to many teachers who want to change something in this outdated educational system, but for my dream to become true, we need to convince all our teachers to join us in our efforts. To have a council at national level with students from all districts that has a voice proposing new projects, attending conferences, and discussing problems in the educational system can make a difference. The idea of a council such as this is a step forward towards the modernization of the educational system. I wish that my experience would make people come together to develop new ideas such as the National Students' Council to give our educational system a new beginning. Now, can you help? Thank you.
Bun, mulțumesc mult, Darius. Încă o dată, am să vă rog să ne oprim, să sedimentăm și, ca un plus, tocmai ce am citit, pumnul drept strâns ne ajută să reținem mai mult în momentul în care ascultăm. Putem să ținem și pumnul strâns. Și acum aș vrea să o invit pe Smaranda Moroșanu, de la Colegiul Național Iași.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. When my teachers look at me, they see a derailed train, someone who has absolutely and completely lost her way. Before you ask yourselves what has happened to me exactly, I must confess, I'm a high school student that studies a mathematics and computer science profile and who has dared to apply to study philosophy, politics, and economics at university. But it goes far beyond that, because I used to attend national mathematics and physics Olympiads, and I do none of that now. If you do not know my story, you just think I was not good enough, and that is why I stopped. However, the reality is that one moment changed the way I see the educational system in Romania completely, and thus altered my life entirely. We often watch television and hear that Romanian students conquer international Olympiads. Yet, at the same time, Romania has one of the lowest ranked educational systems in the developed world. This is a huge dilemma that we encounter. Do we trust that our country's educational system is outstanding or a disappointment? A couple of years ago, I was lucky enough to be in the top of the National Mathematics Olympiad, and I was selected to take part in the junior national team selection. That meant that I had to sit a 5-hour exam during which I had to solve 5 problems based on a curriculum I had never seen before. I always loved to challenge myself, so I said, let's give it a go. I entered the classroom and I was immediately overwhelmed. Most of the candidates were boys that were about 2 heads taller than me and 2 years older than me. They all had cans of Red Bull on their desks to keep them awake during the exam, but remember, we're talking about 13-year-old children. They did not talk to each other, although I knew most of them were actually classmates. I felt an incredible sensation of tension, a competition, of negative eagerness to be the best. The time started, and I had to endure the strangest 5 hours of my life. For about 2 to 3 hours, I solved what I could and figured out that the rest were absolutely impossible problems and were taught in high school or university. I sat there in my chair and looked at the boy on my left. He was probably the oldest there. I remember that he wrote a lot and he kept requesting more and more paper. He must be good, I thought to myself. Then I looked at the boy on my right. He seemed extremely sad because he had not written anything on his paper. Well, I'm definitely not that bad, I thought to myself. I sat there in silence and I stared down at my paper for quite a long time. And then I realized, who was I to judge either of them? Even there, at the toughest mathematics competition in the country, I felt the urge to compare everybody between themselves. And I understood right then and there where this urge comes from. It is introduced bit by bit from the moment we start school. We are taught to fight others, to be competitive, not to help others up. This is the perspective that is central to the inequality of our educational system. I felt entitled to the privilege in that exam room, yet I only played the role of a facade. I was a facade which covered the problems of our educational system. If I were selected to go forward to the junior Olympiad, I would indeed be in newspapers. I would be known. But I would be put in those newspapers to cover the truth, to cover the fact that our educational system is so focused on achieving excellence that we forget to build a healthy society. After the exam was over, I was left with this bitter taste. I didn't want to be paraded around like a symbol of excellence. My performance was the one which made our country's leaders think that there isn't an actual problem with the system. When I realized that, I could unfortunately no longer attend these contests with the same enthusiasm. I knew that I could not start the big reform of the educational system myself, but I could contribute in other ways. Academic debate is one of the endeavors through which I raise awareness about such issues. The National Association of Debate hosts events which very often discuss what the purpose of education should be. By participating in such events in various capacities, I get to gradually contribute to the formation of tomorrow's generation of change makers. And you can do this yourself, be it by voting for people who represent your views, be it by running for office yourselves. And, like I do, and like most of us should do, try to find your own way to contribute to tomorrow's change of the educational system. And you should have started yesterday. Thank you.
Bun. Perfect. Aș dori să invit acum pe Irina Maier de la Colegiul Național Bilingv George Coșbuc din București.
Can everyone hear me properly? Okay. Okay. Miss B, for everyone in this room, she's an unknown person. She's just a character in my story. She may not even be real. But for me, she's that one teacher who's always supported me, who's always helped me, and who's always trusted me. With her help, I became a better person. And today I'm going to tell you the story of my change. You see, the high school I come from is quite libertarian and free-spirited, and this is why we strive to achieve excellence in various other ways besides studying. Everyone is really into extracurriculars, into studying for fun by doing what you love, and I believe that this is very important. We have many clubs. We have debate, theater, choir, photography, and so much more. And I was going to discover how important of a role these all were going to play when I was in the 10th grade. Grade 10. For many people, it may seem scary. Maybe even some of you think about your rebellious teenage years with fear. But for me, it wasn't. I can actually say it was one of the best years of my life because of this change. But what changed? Well, you see, with Ms. B's support, I applied for the debate club in my school, ironically. I was rejected from the selection when I was in the 9th grade, so I didn't really want to reapply because I was, and still am, terrified of failure. But I just knew that this is the change I needed, that this is what I had to do in order not to only change myself, but to help other people change as well by setting an example. Selection day. I look at my hands and I see them shaking. It's a lovely Saturday. The sun is shining, I'm on my way to school, my dad is giving me a ride, I'm listening to my favorite band on the radio, everything is perfect. But then I arrive to school. As I was walking to the entrance, I tripped down the stairs because my legs were also quite shaky. I'm fine, I tell myself. You can do this, Irina. And I walk in. I feel anxious. My heart beats 10 times the usual rate. I'm even more nervous than I was back in the 9th grade, even though this time I knew exactly what was going on, since I've lived this before. So I thought to myself that I should not only be less anxious, but be more confident in my power. I knew that all I had to do is convince them that I was the right person for this job, that I deserved to be here, and that this is what I wanted to do with my life, and that this is the way in which I could help people change. You see, back in the 9th grade, I was really confident. I knew that the judges liked me, that I deserved to be here, that I'd done a very good job. Apparently, they hadn't seen it that way. Anyway, it was time for me to get in. Selection was going to be tough. I opened the door, and it's my old classroom that I'm in. This somehow comforts me. I see the judges, 4 people whom I knew, but whom I was completely terrified of back then. I shyly walk in, picking up a card with just a couple of words written on it. To this day, I don't really remember what I talked about for those few minutes. I only remember being so involved into the conversation that at some point I actually had tears in my eyes. But then I see the judges' faces, and you see, their faces just didn't say much, which made me worry. The hard part is done, I thought as I was walking out the door. Now what? Now the hard part was only beginning, waiting. I waited and waited and waited, and boy, I couldn't wait more. Somehow, I had managed to stay strong and just wait for the results to come. Results day. About 2 weeks, it was time to find out. A little buzz was going to change everything. It was going to change me as a person, to help me find myself, to help me develop and become the person I've always wanted to become. You see, all I saw from the mail when I was back in the 9th grade was, "We regret to inform you," as I started to tear up. But this time, all I saw was "congratulations," and I burst into tears. This was the change I needed, and I believe that this story is very relevant and important when you put it into the educational system, because it made me realize something, and I want people to realize the fact that even when you can't do something because the system says so, you can always find your way out, and it's better to find your way out, because this way out can mean something amazing when you do it because you love it. This can mean music, it can mean debate, it can mean theater, it can mean anything you want it to mean, anything which inspires you and which empowers you to do something, anything which makes your voice be heard. Because you can change anything if you can change yourself, because you can do anything if you do what you love. At the end of the day, I hope you all find your Miss B, that one person who trusts you, who helps you, and who is there for you, even by boosting your confidence. Because that is when beautiful things happen. That is when even the educational system can become something amazing, because you start blooming with her confidence. Because I know that the Q&A is coming soon, but I want to ask you guys a question. And my question for you today that I would like you all to keep in mind and think about is, who is your Miss B? Thank you all for the attention.
Partea frumoasă la o astfel de sesiune este că veți putea să puneți întrebări. Întrebările pot fi atât în limba engleză, cât și în limba română. Ei vă vor răspunde atât în limba engleză, iar dacă răspunsul trebuie dezvoltat, se poate să se răspundă și în limba română. Ne gândim la ce s-a întâmplat până acum, reținem și aș vrea să-l invit și pe Cristian Lupescu, de la Colegiul Național Spiru Haret din București.
Okay, so anybody can hear me?
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah, the presentation.
I think we can have one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to share with you a story based on 3 chapters. But first of all, I really want to know if anybody in this room has never ever been overwhelmed by routine. Raise your hand. If you have never been overwhelmed by routine. Mm-hmm. Is anybody who has never felt that? No? You?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're a lucky guy. Okay, so let's imagine a 15-year-old boy, which is full of energy and enthusiasm. He's on the 9th grade. He's searching for that special reason to come joyfully to the high school. He wants plenty of opportunities. He wants a special approach to his teacher. But this doesn't happen. And he starts doing what all the students do when they don't fit in that box, in that norms. He starts doubting himself. He thinks that the way he was thinking is wrong, that his expectations cannot be satisfied. And he comes back to that box. And what does he do? He starts learning and he fits again in the norms. He finishes the year with an enormous average. His parents, his teachers are extremely proud. And everything is pink for everybody else except him. Well, the problem is that that boy was unhappy. And that boy was me. So the second chapter starts with my strong desire to change something in my life. And now, I'm here in my second chapter. I started being a volunteer. I took up athletics. I started going to competitions. I started being somebody else. I met amazing people. I've been to numerous contests, competitions. But again, nothing spectacular happened to me. And I wondered why. Until one day, when one of the biggest Romanian entrepreneurs, Cristiano Nețiu, came to our high school in order to inspire some students. Lucky me, I was in those 50 students. It was amazing. And what really made me extremely happy was the impact he had and his words had on my colleagues and on me. The reason it was probably because my colleagues were maintaining that eye contact with him rather than texting their phones, which, to recognize nowadays, it's an amazing thing for students not to watch their phones and watching their teachers. What happened next was very hard. I mean, for 1 week, I obsessively analyzed his speech, and I couldn't understand anything. But I started to feel a little bit the message he wanted to send to us. I was happy, but again, nothing amazing. So I was going to volunteering on a rainy and depressive day, and I had a brainwave. I understood the reason why I was going to that volunteering. It was because I wanted to help 20 children to learn how to read at the age of 12, because they did not have that chance. Okay, so it was not just about me, it was about the others. So the greatest success we will know is helping others succeed and grow. He also had some strange words in his speech, Cristiano Nețiu. He said something about empathy, about together, about success, about teamwork. I don't hear that very often in our educational system. And that was also the moment when I realized that the only way to achieve real-life success, growth, and value is to start thinking about the others, is to start caring about them, help them, and creating development opportunities for them. And also, that was the moment when I realized that our educational system, and why our educational system is so wrong. Because it makes us, both students and teachers, to look at each other and to see enemies rather than a team. Because it forces us to follow those 40, 50, 60 years old communist patterns rather than encouraging us to think critically and be open-minded. Okay, I understood that. And the third chapter is the most beautiful one. I started to act driven by the values that I managed to understand. I started to think about the others. Well, you see those girls? They are the most amazing girls in the world. They believed in my idea of creating a conference especially designed for teenagers. And in just 2 editions, we had 150 teenagers in just 6 months. 2 editions. Everything made by teenagers. Amazing. You can see here what it means to build things and to do everything you do and to make a purpose from helping the others. Meanwhile, between those two editions, other 4 guys, 2 girls and other 2 boys, believed in another idea, which is amazing. We built for the very first time in our educational system a non-formal classroom. We built it during our summer holiday. So we worked there daily, we did not have a summer vacation. But in only 1 month and 2 weeks, we had more than 600 teenagers that came in our classroom, and that those teenagers entered in contact with NGOs, with companies, with inspirational speakers, with workshops, with development opportunities. So we brought the non-formal in the formal. And that's the reason why we had success. This is a classroom. And I think this is the way that all the classrooms in the world should look like. And now I'm going to finish with the question. Do you remember that 15-year-old boy from the first chapter? Well, he's now 17. He's very happy with what he does. And he encourages you to believe that together and working for the others, we can change the world. And he certainly is very honored because today he spoke to you. Thank you.
Încă o dată un ropot de aplauze pentru participanții din această zi minunată.